Channeling my 90s girl today. That's right. What up, guys? It's been a minute, so grab yourself a drink and sit down and chill with me for a bit for Roasty. Today's episode is brought to you by Tito's. And you want to know the best thing about making dirty martinis at home? Is you don't get charged for extra olives. I'm just all about the olives today. Huh. Okay. I'm also drinking this out of my classic 1988 Toledo Zoo mug. They had pandas that year. It's Lily. No guarantees on how this episode's gonna end. Hey everybody, it's been a minute. I'm Chevy Rell. As per usual, if you want to learn more about me, click the little eye up here. I do know that we have some new viewers, or at least some new subscribers, so I don't know if you've seen my other episodes, but if this is your first one, you can find out about me there. If you're a returning viewer, thanks so much for stopping by, and let's get on to the stuff. We'll just get right into it. FOs, I got 4, count them 4. You can't see those, look.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Squares done. Just a reminder, I am working my way through 200 crochet blocks. Next up is number 15. My next finished object is my Reaching Vines, what was it called? A textured toque. And it is not as, it's not as slouchy as I would like for it to be, but I have not blocked it. So you can, well, actually, I don't know if you can see. The design goes this way, and then it goes this way. Now, the one thing that is a little wonky, and it's so textured, I don't know if you can even see it, which, hey, not bad. Huh. Anyway, there are a couple, like right here, which on camera you can't really tell, but the decreases look a little wonky. I think that's how they're supposed to be. Because it's such a variegated yarn, and this is Malabrigo in, I forget the colorway, sorry, refer to an earlier episode. I want to say it's like Nebula or Niebla, or it's not Nebula, it looks like Nebula. Since it's so variegated, it's very forgiving on that wonky decrease. I followed the instructions and it worked out fine. Like it wasn't ever off in the pattern. However, I was knitting on it at Sunday Knitting, so I could have just messed it up. It's awesome. I love it. The yarn is amazing. Like I said, I would like to block it so that it's a little slouchier. I do enjoy a slouchy hat, but it fits great and it's squishy and comfortable and I like it a lot. Those are my only finished objects for the week. I feel like I have gotten a lot done, but I am almost to the point where I'm a little overwhelmed on what I have on the needles. So while I feel like I got a lot of knitting done, I feel like I should have more done, but I don't know. You guys be the judge. Brainless socks, haven't touched them. Those were my Christmas Eve little bobbins cast on. In typical Chevis fashion, I cast on a bunch of other things and they kind of got put off to the back burner, and there they sit, so I'll get to them later. Next up is my Wanderers, Modern Mukluks, I think is what it's called. They are in my library card bag from Fat Squirrel, Amy Beth. I did get one done. Here's the thing with this, if you remember from the last episode. On the pattern, it said to do so many charts of the repeat for a 7 to 8 size. I'm a size 9. So I added half a chart repeat to that, thinking, well, if that many repeats is a 7 to 8, if I add half a chart, it should fit me. Yeah, no, I ripped back that half. It was still too big. I ripped back another half and it fits fine. It looks short, but I am a size 9 and these fit. They have not been blocked yet. The leg fits awesome. It has that same slouchy look as it does in the pattern. And then I've only gotten this far on the second one. This yarn is Harrisburg, Harrisville. Harrisburg or Harrisville. I say it wrong all the time. I'll link it, you know. It's that yarn that Tommy on Squirrel Pie Productions mentioned and I ordered, and it was one of the best things I ever did. It is sheepy and squishy and awesome and wonderful. And I think I'm going to eventually, not right now because I have so many things on the needles, I would like to buy a sweater's quantity. Faux show. I got a little work done on my rug hooking thing. For you new viewers who have missed this, my Aunt Karen went to Nova Scotia and got me this totally cute little rug hook. This is not great. This is not the most beautiful thing in the world because, like I said, I have never rug hooked. But it's a little sheep, and then I'm going to do green grass down here, and I am going to make it a coaster and give it to my Aunt Karen as a gift for buying me the hook. So that's my plan. My next whip. Did I even say whip? Did I even say I was moving on to whips? I don't think I did. We're into the whip section. I'm sure y'all know that already because y'all are smart. I know. Spinach to Popeye is dirty martinis to Chevy. Just saying. My next whip, I don't know, do you guys remember me saying that I am a printed out pattern person, and that by the time I'm done, I highlight stuff, by the time I'm done it looks like a wadded up ball of mess. Yeah, it's getting there. This is my Beaubourg, is what we're calling it. This is in Manos Del Uruquay Maxima, and mine is in the colorway I can't remember. This sweater is knit in 3 pieces. You do the front, you do the back, and then you do the collar. The cool thing I think about this pattern, which if any of you knit it, while I do not do my own Ravelry project pages, I often access those of you who do. So if you are someone who puts your patterns on Ravelry, thank you so much. I definitely access those helpful hints. On this pattern, I will tell you the very first, which I don't think that this is bad to give away. Let's see. It's just fit, right? Okay. It says to measure your hip measurement. A lot of people well, I don't know about a lot, but more than one of the things that I read on this sweater, they did not read the pattern before casting on or before choosing their size, and they did their bust measurement instead of their hip measurement. I did my hip measurement, so I hope that this works. It is also knit in reverse stockinette, which, let me tell you, first thing I have ever knit on reverse stockinette. It's a hard thing when you've been a knitter for so long, and for stockinette, you have a right side, wrong side. It's really hard for me, for my brain, to remember that the purl side is the right side. So the last time y'all saw this, I was at that stitch marker right there. I had that much. This is my little camper stitch marker from my friend Diana. Isn't it cute? Because we are campers. Anyway, I had done. Now, this, here again, I have my stitch marker on the wrong side because it's reverse stockinette. I have one side done, and that will be the right side. I did not, and I guess you can I don't know, can you kind of tell right about here-ish? I did not alternate skeins. Veronica was the dyer of all of my Maxima skeins, so I figured since all of the handwriting was in the same pen, it was all done by Veronica, it was all done the same day, that it was close enough. And I may have been drinking last weekend while knitting it, just saying, so I didn't care. I didn't alternate skeins. A lot of times I do alternate skeins, but on this I didn't. Now, this is the back, and I don't think it's that bad. Like, had I not pointed that out, would you even notice? Maybe, I don't know. It's a design feature. I don't give a fuck. So that's that. I have, this doesn't even count. I don't even have all of them on. I'm just casting on for the front. I'm not quite halfway through, because after you get the front and the back done, then you have the collar. A lot of people did add, it looked like 3 to 6 inches they added to the whatever the collar calls for in the pattern, which I don't know because I haven't gotten that far. If you look at the project pages, the pictures, a lot of the people styled it just up, and then it laid like kind of scrunchy. It looked super cool standing up, but it laid kind of, I don't know. Look at the pictures. Tell me what you think. Next whip is my two of a time.
Two of a time, or two of a kind, or two at a time. Yep, that thing right there.
2 at a time socks, vanilla, toe up, which is my standard vanilla recipe. They will eventually be a fish lips kiss heel. This yarn is Post Yarn from Simply Socks Yarn Company. I do have to say that, oh yeah, and it's in my ball sack. Do you guys remember this from before? For all you new watchers, I do 2 at a time. I put it in 2 balls, I shove it in my ball sack, and then I pull yarn from each side. It's awesome. You don't have to mess around with your balls getting all tangled. Tangled balls sounds scary. So I was looking up their other striping. I love this striping, you guys. Look at how fun that color is. Oh, I forgot to show you. That's where I was the last time. I had 2 wee toes, so that's how far I've gotten on these socks. Next whip is the Exceedingly vanilla socks, which, if you remember from last time, I don't have a picture to show you. This is a free pattern by Andy/Amanda from 10,000 Stitches podcast. She's the physicist. This is her pattern. She is Pearlbug on Instagram, and on there it says Andy. But on the on the pattern on Ravelry, it says Amanda Steck. So I don't know if she wants to be called Andy or Amanda. But if you don't watch the 10,000 Stitches podcast, you need to go there because she has an Exceedingly vanilla sock that's super fun to knit. I like it a lot. And she's having a cal right now, and you should go join it. Here's my sock. If you remember from the last episode, I am using my Addy Flips. No. Addy Flexi Flips. They're the first time I'm ever using them. Few things about this sock. Actually, I feel like I have tons to talk about this sock. First, it is my top down. You all, many viewers, thank you very much, have told me to try the German twisted cast on. I did look that up, and in doing so, I realized that I have used that cast on before. I don't remember for what. I don't think I don't think ever for top-down socks, but I did it for this. There is still a little line. It's not as stretchy as Toe Up, Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off, but I do like it very much. I'm impressed with this cast on. The other thing about this sock is the yarn. Isn't it pretty? Look at it, you guys. Look at it pooling. This is from Open Skies Yarn Company. Open Skies Yarn. It might be Open Skies Yarn. Jeanette, she has the Bookish Stitcher podcast. She's from Texas. She's super sweet. And I won this in, check out the last episode. I won't repeat it, but I won this colorway based on a picture I posted. And isn't it awesome? I love the way it's knitting up. Now, a lot of people do not like pooling. I love pooling. Throughout my entire knitting career, I will specifically try and pick a yarn that pools because I see all these other people who get their yarn to pool and they gripe that they don't like it and they like recast on their number to like get it to not pool. And I'm over here like, I love that it pools. I want it to pool and I can't get it to pool. So at first, see this line right here for all you, and it took me a long time to get this. This little line right here, that's called flashing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that that's called flashing. But if you hold it back here, this section is very much a black and cream, whereas this section is a black and yellow. So this is actually the pooling. So it's almost like it flashes and pools at the same time. I love it. I know that I'm probably a dork, but I absolutely love it, you guys. Here's the thing. I hear many people say that one of the reasons that they love striping yarn is because they feel like they knit the socks faster because they want to get done with that stripe to get into the next stripe. And I kind of feel like, yeah, but you know that next stripe's coming. I mean, yeah, I'm like, woo, changed colors, like on my snowflake socks. With this, you don't know what's gonna happen. You have no idea. Look at the heel. Look at what happened with the heel. You guys. This is a knitter's version of Choose Your Own Adventure. Huh? Who's the 80s kid? Anybody's teacher read the Choose Your Own Adventure books to them? I loved those books. This is what this is. What's going to happen next? Where are we going to go? What's it going to look like? I don't know. And you know what? The next sock, it's going to look totally different. It's going to be awesome. And I am so excited. This is the first time that I am using the Flexi Flips. I think that everyone pretty much knows about these Flexi Flips if you watch podcasts because everybody talks about them. I'm indifferent. I don't hate them. Like when 9-inch circulars came out and I'm like, ooh, I gotta get a pair. Nope. No, not for Chevis. Did not like them. Felt totally weird. I do not want to knit with those. I'm definitely not a double point girl. Not because I don't like them. They are fiddly, but the main reason that I don't like double pointed needles is for some reason when I knit with them, I get mad ladders, y'all. Like big ladders. I don't know why. It's just the way I knit. I get ladders. So I am not a double point. These are sort of in between magic looping and double point. I turned the heel this morning and I picked up along the heel flap and now I'm kind of like, okay, all my needles are taken. Because on these, you typically will, like you'll have 2 needles with the live stitches and then you have a working needle. That being said, for you magic loopers, on a magic loop, once you get to the end of the row, you're used to dropping that needle, turning it around, and then picking it back up again. I throw this 3rd needle on the floor. So it's really hard to get used to for a magic looper because you want to drop the needle, but on these, you actually drop the needle like it goes flying. So if you guys are looking for a vanilla sock to knit, the Exceedingly Vanilla Sock by Amanda Speck, I would highly suggest. It's super fun so far. And it's a cal, and who doesn't love a cal? Especially for a vanilla sock. How many cals have you seen for a vanilla sock? Not very many. It's a beautiful thing, y'all. Next is enabling. I know it's been a minute since I've recorded, and I don't know if y'all remember, my friends Diana and Jody and I went down to Indianapolis specifically for the button show, and of course we were going to go other places as well. It's the Indiana Button Society Spring Button Show. It was like a muggle going to a fiber festival. It's the best way I can explain it. Rewind. Before we went to the button thing, I feel like I have to go in order. Before we went to the button thing, we had to stop back at Always in Stitches, which you've seen on my, what was that? The yarn crawl video. Always in Stitches was that shop with all the quilting stuff as well. Very cool. They knew exactly who I was when I walked in. Like, it made my heart swell. They'd seen the video. So nice, so awesome. They saw that I was going to go in there and pick up my thread for my moth pattern that I got. Oh, it's right here. For this pattern, I said I got it there. Whoops. I got it there and I was gonna go pick out the thread. You guys, they had it ready for me. Here it is. So I got all the thread for this. I also got my fabric. I am a very beginner cross stitcher, so I don't know very much. I know that there are different stitch counts for the fabric that you stitch on. I know that linen is very hard to see. People talk about you need very good lighting for linen. I believe that I think I started on like a 14 stitch count, which is 14 stitches per inch. I could totally be wrong, but something like that. It's like the spacing of your holes. The best way I can explain it is it would be like having somebody go from casting on 20 stitches and knitting a 6-foot garter stitch scarf to doing a cable sweater. I think that's pretty much how it is. But you know, I'm just gonna jump in head first because why not, right? So what did I end up getting? I ended up getting a 32 count. Look at that. I have no idea what I'm talking about or what I'm doing. Keep that in mind. This is not inexpensive. This is hand-dyed fabric. Look at that. Look how pretty that is, you guys. I love it so much. Okay, that being said, you probably won't see this for a very long time. This is gonna marinate. That's all I needed for the Stacy Nash Primitives Moon Moth Pin Keep, which I showed, sorry for the glare, on another episode. I know I just got done saying that I'm not a big cross stitcher. I've cross stitched a few things in my world, not very many. Of course, I'm there talking to the wonderful people at Always in Stitches. If you are in the Noblesville, Indiana area, I highly suggest them. They are so nice. They have tons of yarn, but they also have quilting, cross stitching. Like I got some needles just because I needed good cross stitching needles, and this is Octopus's Garden. Look how cute that is. For all you Beatles fans, it says under the sea in an octopus garden in the shade. It's the 4th pattern in the Magical Mystery Tour series, and that is by Blackbird Designs. I had zero business buying this. Like, for one, it's gonna take me flipping 5 years to cross stitch this one. So that's all I got at Always in Stitches. We then went to Black Sheep Yarn and Fiber. Yes, Black Sheep Yarn and Fiber. Joanne was there. She was the one who had the sock knitting machine, if you remember my little snippet from that video. Then we went to the button show. Because I'm obsessed with owls. Yeah, can ya? Of course you can't see. but it's two owls sitting in a moon. Isn't it cute? I figured I could sew those just like on a hat, just for a little cool button. This was sort of the thing that I fell in love with first, because you know that I am in love with Jareth. For those of you who don't, in a past episode I mentioned it. I'm in love with the labyrinth that's in the top 10 of my favorite movies of all time. David Bowie was my heartthrob when I was like 8 years old, or however old I was when that movie came out. But look at this button, you guys. But look how big it is. Isn't it awesome? Oh, I love it. And it's like, I don't know what it's made out of. It feels like, I'm going to break it. Oh my God. I don't know what it is. Glass, maybe? That's all for my enabling. I'm skipping show and tell because I looked around for something for show and tell and I felt like it was too forced. So the last thing that I will talk about is fiber happenings that are coming up and I am very excited about. Today is Wednesday, March 21st. I don't know when you guys will be seeing this video because it does take me a little while to edit a video, especially since I've been talking for way longer than I normally do. So I'm going to have a lot to cut out of this. This Saturday is Blackswamp Spinners Guild. No. Blackswamp Market Day? No. But there is a Bowling Green, Ohio. It is known for art. A lot of teachers go there and art majors go to BG. So it's a fun show to go to because I get to see vendors that I don't see anywhere else. There are vendors that I see other places as well, but when you go to fiber events on the outskirts of, you know, like as far as you'll go one way, like that's definitely as far east as I will travel, or I have traveled, not as I will travel. Because let's just be honest, I would absolutely love to go to Rhinebeck someday. That would be amazing. Or Maryland Sheep and Wool, something like that, if it ever works out in the calendar of events. Thus far, in the world of Chevy Rel, it's as far east as I have gotten for a fiber event. A few of these vendors will also hit Yellow Springs, which is southeast of Fort Wayne, but it's a very fun show. I wish they'd shorten the name a little bit, and I mean that with total constructive criticism in a good way, because it doesn't flow from the tongue. The Spinners Guild in Bowling Green is called the Blackswamp Spinners Guild, and they are the ones who put this fiber festival on. It's not even a fiber festival. They call it a fiber fair, I think. So the whole name for it, I always get messed up. It's Blackswamp Spinners Market Day and Fiber Fair. I may have gotten that. Blackswamp Spinners Market Day and Fiber Fair. That might be what it is. But if you just put in Blackswamp Fiber Fair, Bowling Green, Ohio, it'll come up. So that's this weekend. I'm super excited about it. It's an awesome show. I'm going with Mama Jean and a couple of her quilting friends who are also knitters. Mama Jean has gone with me more than once to this fiber fair. There is a rug hooking gal there that Mama Jean likes a whole bunch, and she usually buys, her name's Maisie. That's the name of that pattern right there, that little sheep. We got her there last year, and Mama Jean bought it for me for Christmas, and then of course I forgot about it, and she said she'd make it for me for Christmas. So then on Christmas Day I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. So it was kind of a nice surprise. Two of my favorite people who are always at Blackswamp, that's just what I'm gonna call it, Blackswamp, are Bad Amy Knits. If you guys don't know her, she does have an Etsy shop. I love her stuff. Blackswamp is the only show that I attend that Bad Amy goes to. It's how I met her. I had never heard of her before that show, seeing her in person. The first thing I ever got, this is the Cladonia, Cladonia. I think that's it. I'll link it. You know, I always do. This is what I knit with those. It's a single ply yarn. It is striped. It's awesome and I love it and it's squishy and amazing. 2 years ago, I grabbed this, but this is also her single. I love her singles, but her colors are great. It's the only show I get to see her stuff in person. The other vendor that I love at Blackswamp is Sarah from Bitter Buffalo. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her. She also has an Etsy. I love her stuff. This is one of my all-time favorite things that I've gotten from her. It's a tooth. You guys, it's a progress keeper, and it's my favorite progress keeper because it's one of those earring backs instead of the lobster claws. I feel like they're easier to get on and off your knitting when you need for them too. But it's a tooth, and it glows in the dark. What? It glows in the dark. It's awesome. Another thing I got from Sarah at Bitter Buffalo is this super fun ornament that she shoved full of fibery awesome goodness. It hangs right back there in the stuff room normally. My other fibery event that is coming up that I don't know if I will record before I go there, so I'm just going to mention it, is YarnCon in Chicago. That is the 7th. I think it's the 7th. 6th and 7th or 7th and 8th. It's one of those. 6th and 7th maybe. I don't know. But my bestie lives in Chicago. We try to go every year. We did miss last year because I think Clinty was out of town. He was on vacation or something. So Dan and I will go up there for the weekend. Clint wants to take us someplace in the West Loop for grub. I forget what it's called. The hamburger joint. All you Chicagoans probably know it already. He's probably screaming it at the screen. And then, of course, we hit YarnCon. YarnCon is as far west as I usually get for a fiber festival. So there are so many vendors that I only ever see at YarnCon. I've already been stalking the YarnCon vendor list. For that one, I stocked the hashtag YarnCon 2018. And I found a bunch of people I want to go check out their stuff. One of them being Michelle at the Hummingbird Moon. She is on Instagram. For those of you who follow me, she did do a giveaway that I shared. I love her stuff. She is from Boulder, Colorado, and is going to be at YarnCon. I love her colorways. I'm super excited to see her in person. The other thing that's sort of funny about YarnCon is I am not on Instagram all day, every day. I very rarely, in all honesty, peruse through Instagram. Like, I will notice if somebody likes a photo or leaves me a comment only because I get notified. But as far as perusing through Instagram, I usually only do that at night right before I go to bed. So I'm perusing through Instagram and I see Natalia Wilson, who is Moonrat42 on Instagram, for all of you who do not know who she is. I'm betting that not many of you don't know who she is. She is very well known for her knitting needle gauge rings. I believe Christy Glass was gifted one here recently. I think Christy Glass did an interview with her. I follow her on Instagram. She's at all the big knitting events. I'm scrolling through Instagram. There is artwork, like alley artwork, like very graffiti style artwork in an alley in Fort Wayne near a restaurant that I frequent. It's definitely one of my places. There's a group of knitters that meet there and knit, yada yada. I'm scrolling through Instagram and here is Natalie standing in front of this mural at Dash Inn or Pint and Slice. They're kind of like both right there. And I'm like staring at it for a minute. It was weird. It would be like you would be scrolling through Instagram and you saw a picture of Stephen West standing in your grandma's living room. I'm like, what is happening? It was just so weird, and it took my brain a minute to catch up with the fact that she's standing in front of this mural in Fort Wayne. I should have mentioned this at the beginning. She is also one of the 2 gals that started YarnCon in Chicago. I'm in my message back to her. I said, I hope that Fort Wayne treated you well, and I'm really excited for YarnCon, and maybe I'll get to see you in the wild. And she said, for sure, you'll for sure see me at YarnCon. I don't know, maybe I'll see her at YarnCon. On that note, if any of you are going to the Blackswamp Spinners Guild Market Day and Fiber Fair, whatever that is, in Bowling Green, Ohio this Saturday, if I get it posted before this Saturday, which like I said, I'm going to try real hard, please say hi to me. If you see me at YarnCon, also please say hi to me. I would love to meet you guys. I love your faces. Brought to you by Lilu, Fifth Element, Corbandales Multipass. Thanks, guys. Have a good time until the next time I see ya. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And talk to you next time. Later.